But first, he has coordinated more I-dos and walks down the aisle than any other minister or planner in Kansas City. And he has a new book on how to have a wonder-filled wedding. And joining me now is the Metro's master of the big day, Michael Nolte on Better Kansas City. Thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Your book itself is a work of art.
Well, thank you.
It is beautiful.
Thank you.
Part of the book talks about how you got into the wedding planning business and why your approach is so unique.
It is. A lot of times if I do guest lecture spots for universities, for instance, in entrepreneurship classes or marketing or branding, or they oftentimes say, you know, what was your lucky break? What did you do right? What did you do wrong? And so this is kind of the beginning of that. It's that life story. And I have done it now for 37 years, which is longer than anyone's in Kansas City been crazy enough to be in the wedding business, but I still absolutely love to do it.
What a stressful business. You are dealing with usually a woman at her most stressful point pre-starting a family or buying a house.
Right.
I mean, the wedding is big deal, high emotions. How do you manage that?
Well, first, I am the father of 3 daughters, so I'm very used to estrogen overload in my own home. And I'm aware that oftentimes that brides are overreacting to a scenario that if it weren't their wedding, they would not act like that. So I never take it personally.
Oh, that's good. You also have a 2-word policy.
Absolutely. When it comes to wedding directing the day of the wedding, my mantra is no gaps. Okay. So I think it's important that once you get on a wedding planning day that you just get on a plane and take off with no gaps between ceremony and reception if you can help it, no long gaps between cocktails and dinner, no long gaps between dinner and dancing. So just keep it flowing, no gaps.
We've been showing our viewers as you're talking some of the images from your book. You have planned, and you don't have to give personal details because I know it's very private information, but you've planned the biggest wedding that ever happened in Kansas City.
I did.
And the biggest wedding that ever happened in the state of Kansas.
Yes.
How long does that take you to put together?
Well, the funny thing about that is that when I started with both of those families, I did not know that that's what we were going to end up with.
Are you glad about that?
I would have taken fewer other weddings during that month, but I loved the challenge of it. And in both cases, the families were so absolutely gracious and friendly and well loved that the excitement for all the guests to be a part of it was like historic, and it was really fun.
Newly engaged couple on a budget, what would be the best piece of advice you can give them?
2 things I would think of. Number 1, stick to the budget by editing your guest list. Don't invite so many people that you end up then feeding them just chips and dip. Another quick thing that I would say is that if you're torn between decorations and you've got money for lots of candles or money for a few flowers, I would definitely do lots of candles. The eye is always going to be attracted to light before it will color. So
focus on the lighting rather than flowers.
The ambiance is important. Well, there's 4 things that will make people leave a wedding quickly, a reception, if it's too bright, too hot, too loud, or too crowded. So if you can dim the lights and create a nice atmosphere, people are more likely to stay and enjoy the party.
Because no one wants to dance in a room with gymnasium lighting.
Exactly.
Lighting's crucial in that way as well.
Very important, very important.
So you also say you're an idea giver, not an order taker.
I am. You know, being a total right brain creative kind of guy, it's just suffocating to me if I end up just being told what to do. And sometimes I think the families wasted their money hiring me as a wedding creator for them if they're the ones coming up with all the ideas. If they know as much as I do about wedding planning, I should retire and they should take my place. So the people who get the most money from me are the ones who say, spend this money as if it were your own, but pull out the stops. We want your absolute best work.
And that's when you can create the most magical event.
Oh my gosh, and establish relationships with families that I've had as friends now for over 30 years.
Michael Nolte, thank you very much for being here. This book is stunning. And there's also an opportunity to meet Michael at a book signing November 2nd. It's from 5 to 7 at Tivol Hawthorne Plaza in Leawood. Wedding planner and author Michael Nolte, thank you so much for being here.